Good evening, and welcome to Lynn's Afterwork Words of Wisdom. How y'all doing today? I hope everybody's doing great. I am so glad to be with you, but let me just tell y'all, I am filming inside today because it is hot here in South Florida today. It is record heat days, so I was not wanting to get out there and sweat and do all of that. So I decided I would film live. So I'm testing out this new, doing it on my computer. So hopefully this is going out and will be just as good as the ones previously. So the other day I was talking to a young lady. I hadn't talked to her in a while, and she was experiencing some issues with her living situation, and she was very upset about it. And we somehow got to talking about how we react and how I'm able to stay so calm when things around me are going wrong. And I really thought about that. It made me reflect on what has it been and what is it that I do. I know a lot of you have heard me tell the story of driving with my aunt when I was 6 after my mother's death, and the storm coming, and me eventually shouting at my aunt to stop because I was afraid we were going to die. And her calmly telling me, baby, those people who are pulled over on the side of the road, they don't know how long the storm gonna be here. But if we keep driving, eventually we're gonna drive through the storm and out of the storm. And I tell about how that became like a philosophy for me in life, but it wasn't right away. But eventually it was something I developed, learning how to drive through the storms of life. And so I want to share with you a process on how you too can learn to do that. Because if it's your first time really encountering something, it can be devastating. It can be very hard. And that's why it's important, if you're not going through a storm right now, to work on your foundation. You've got to build you a foundation. You've got to build a trust and a belief that no matter what, you're going to be okay. It doesn't matter if you believe in God, whether you believe in some other supernatural being or some superior being, but you have to believe in something bigger than yourself, something greater than you. And once you have that kind of start, that kind of foundation, when you lay down that, when you can start having faith, that's the first thing you have to do. You have to have faith. And I know some people, all they have is themselves, they think. And they develop a faith in themselves and in their ability. But it is so much better when you not only are trusting yourself and believing your own ability, but when you can rely on something else and somebody else. For me, I choose to make that man and that person God and his son Jesus Christ. But that's not everybody. But that's who I believe in, and that's the foundation I've set. But I did it in the good times. See, a lot of times people wait until something bad happens, and then all of a sudden they trying to get a relationship with God or with whoever they believe in. But that's too late. If you ask me, that's too late. You should already be on good terms. You should already be having conversations with them. You should already be asking for guidance in your life. And once you set that foundation like that, you're going to be able, when things happen, you're going to be able to not only rely on yourself to get yourself through, but you're going to be able to rely on the guidance that you get to help you get through. But in setting that foundation, how do you go about setting that foundation, you may ask? It can entail a lot of things. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, well, I'm spiritual, but I don't believe in church. Well, you need to be around other people who believe like you believe. Now, whether you go to an organized religious place or not, you ought to be with people who talk about having faith of some kind. Those are the kind of people that you need to be surrounding yourself with, and you should be around. They should be talking about their faith. They should be able to talk to you about growing your faith. Because, see, faith is just like muscles, it's got to be grown. It's not going to just pop up. You've got to trust. You've got to put something out there and then believe. And when you see it happen, then you'll trust again and you'll believe even more. And then you'll trust again and you'll believe even more. See, that's how you keep driving through that storm once you build that foundation. When you build that foundation of faith, and believing that things can be okay, and knowing that you have someone you can trust in, and someone you can call on, and someone who's not going to leave you out there alone, then things that come your way won't seem so rough. They won't seem so hard. They won't seem so devastating. At least that's what's worked for me. I don't know if that's going to work for everybody, but I suggest and I would dare you to try it. I dare you to try it. One of my good friends and I were just talking yesterday about people who worry but say they're Christians. And we're like, okay, and I know every Christian's not perfect, but at some point in time, you should be trying to move further down the road. You should be developing a better relationship. So we're saying, I remember saying, if you worry, why pray? If you pray, why you worry? But you know why? Because your faith is not there. That foundation is not there. And that's why people can pray and still worry because they haven't built that foundation. Because once you pray, you should not be worried anymore about it. It doesn't mean you won't think about it every now and then, but you should not worry at all about what's going to happen. I know and it takes a long time and it takes a lot and it takes intention. It takes you thinking about it and intentionally setting your mind to say, oh no, I'm going to believe, I'm going to work on this. That's what it takes. But not all of us are willing to do that. Not all of us are willing to put in that work because it's work to get to that point. But I believe that if you set that foundation, if you establish that relationship with the one that you trust and you believe is going to always be there to have your back. Like I said, for me, it's God. For you, it may be something else. You may call it Allah. I don't know what you call him, but or her, but I know that successful people have faith. Successful people believe in faith, and successful people will use that energy that they have and build a relationship first before they need the help. That's it for tonight. Thank you very much. This is Lynn Whitfield, your sister and your beacon of light, navigating you to a better and brighter tomorrow. Have a great day and be better on purpose.